This is DDS. From the DDS studios, we are your hosts, Blake Melton, Bradley Newberry, and from the man cave, you know him, you love him, it is Matthew 2, Tone Blue Parker. Parker, what's going on, dude?
Hey, man, hopefully I got a little bit better Wi-Fi connection. I'm ready to go.
Absolutely. Loving that jersey you got on, by the way. Go Preds. Guys, we are here back again to render our verdict on the best and the worst performances of the 2022 NFL draft, as well as kind of what we think about the AFC South. How do they measure up against each other? So
it'll be interesting to hear. We have Titans fans here. We have a Jag fan, believe it or not, on this panel.
The only one in Tennessee.
And we have a lot of hate for the Colts.
Yeah, we do.
But we're going to get started today with talking about teams that we actually liked and liked their draft picks. Blake, do you want to lead us off?
Yeah, I'm going to start off with sorry, I'm a little hot here. Going to start off with the Baltimore Ravens. I think this one was the easiest of all the picks to make as far as the draft grades. I think that we can all agree that they just, throughout the entire draft, it was as if they just kept having picks fall right in their lap. And just from us personally, I mean, we picked, 3 or 4 of these guys in our first round. We have Kyle Hamilton, Tyler Linderbaum, and David Ajabo. I mean, we obviously love those guys. We had them going in the first round. So I think that this was an easy one for me. I mean, they loaded. I mean, look at all. Let me share the screen. But golly, how many picks is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11 picks. Goodness gracious, they loaded up. And I mean, it's hard to say that they didn't come out with a really good draft. And they just always seem to they draft well.
And Parker,
they just do.
And Parker, what they did was they remained patient. They let the draft come to them, and they simply just picked the best available player, right?
They do. And I hate this. Just shows you I'll praise some teams I just hate because they're my least favorite team in the league. But every single year they're fantastic. Their front office, Austin Fulele being there where he was. I mean, everything falls to the Ravens when it comes to drafting. And at some point it's not falling, right? At some point it's just they're good at it. They're really good analytical. They've got a great coach, and just, hey, reload, man. 10 players. It's a haul, especially in a class like this.
Absolutely. And like I got up on the screen here from SI.com, their draft grades. They have them at an A+, and I don't think there's anybody that would argue that they're up there.
Let's talk about pick number 130 if we can. Mr. Jordan Stout, punter from Penn State. I mean, the only one that's better is the one from Iowa, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hey, some people are hating on him for the picking of a punter. But I think that they draft well enough that they have the right to be able to make those kinds of picks every
year. Though my favorite punter, come on, San Diego State, the punt god, Matt Araiza. He went to Buffalo. He is the Josh Allen of punters. Wow. The guy that can boot it 80 yards into that Buffalo win. I'm telling you, it's going to be ridiculous.
All he needs to do is go through a table now. Parker, which one did you like?
Man, there were a lot of them this year, and the rich get richer, just like, Baltimore. And I take a look, and I sit back, and Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs pulled off. You know, we like to say, these great teams get lucky. And again, no, they don't. They're just good at it. You know, they're sitting there. They get Trent McDuffie at 21, and a lot of people had him going 14 or 15.
Good.
But yeah, and George Karlaftis, this guy might be one of the best rushers in the entire league, like going into it. And everybody thought, they're going to get Sky Moore in the first. Yeah, they got Sky Moore. They got him at 54. What is this? And then Leo Chanel out of Wisconsin. This guy was talked about as a second rounder, goes in the third round to him. They just had so many people fall to them. And it's just what you do. You don't ever have to, they're not ever rebuilding. You know, they lost maybe the best receiver in the league, and they're still going to be talked about as Super Bowl favorites just because of how they retooled every single position. And, Sky Moore is going to be a top fantasy pickup for people now. We're going to these dynasty leagues. I have a draft next week for rookie players. He's going to be one of the top ones just because of his quarterback throwing to him. So, yeah, Kansas City Chiefs have got my vote as one of the best drafts in the league.
It's scary. We'll see. Tyreek Hill, you think that he's not replaceable, but really, when you have the quarterback
Yeah.
with Mahomes. He's replaceable, believe me.
It's just interesting. The two that we've talked about so far, we've used the same adage to describe both of them and how they drafted. It's they let the draft come to them.
Mhm.
And, oftentimes, a lot of the really criticized moves in the draft tend to be the ones that teams just rush after to go get. And then somebody down at the bottom, they just always seem to pick up the scraps, and there's often some pretty good morsels there in those scraps.
I had them as one of my top drafts.
And you mentioned Tyreek Hill. It's something thinking about it, and I've talked about it in other podcasts we've done. The story of the year going to this season, I think it's just unbelievable, is going to be the teams that were willing to pay the receivers versus the teams that weren't, because there is a hard line, and Kansas City is just showing what they're trying to do to move away from that. It's just going to be real interesting. Is it the quarterback making the receivers, or is it the receiver making the quarterback?
Yep, that's going to be an argument we just continue to have, I think.
And then the two I was going back and forth between were the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Jets. I'm going to give some Jets love right here. I think Parker kind of hinted at it on the last podcast. This may have been the best 2 or 3 days that the Jets will have the rest of the year. So let's call them out right here. If you don't mind bringing it up, the Jets start with Kayvon Thibodeau. No, wait. They started with, did you have it? Sauce. So we thought it was going to be Thibodeau. He went to the Giants. Sauce Gardner. Then we come back with Garrett Wilson, who we nailed with arguably the best wide receiver. You might have cornerback 1, wide receiver 1. Jermaine Johnson fell to them at pick 26. A lot of people had him in like the top 15. And then right here, they have Breece Hall. Parker, we had him in the first round.
Guys, I think we were just as close as Mel Kiper was on a lot of these things. I'm not even joking. I feel like we were pretty damn spot on here.
And you talked about Jermaine Johnson. There were rumors that they were going to take Jermaine Johnson at 1. So they literally may have got the running or the cornerback 1, the wide receiver 1, theoretically the edge 1, and the RB 1. Maybe. I personally think they did an awesome job. I would push back on the Breece Hall. He's amazing, but they just took Michael Carter last year. It seemed like he was doing great. That's nitpicking, I know. But hey, he's a shiny object for their franchise quarterback, right? That was pretty obvious on some of the things they were trying to do in those top few picks with Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall.
From what I've read that they like Hall better than Carter, and that Carter will be the third down back, the spell back.
Okay.
I think Breece Hall goes right into the starting lineup.
Okay.
I think that draft capital absolutely shows that 100%.
Any other ones you want to call out? I mean, I had Philly there as an honorable mention, but
yeah, Philly. I mean, it's so hard because they had 5, and I know they got AJ Brown out of it. But it was great how they started off. I mean, they got Jordan Davis, and the big knock on Nakobe Dean was like, oh, he's a little linebacker. He's not going to be able to do it without Jordan Davis. Well, guess what? He's got Jordan Davis.
They thought Dean was going in the top 20 as well.
Yeah. So
number 1 linebacker.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing about Phillies. They don't ever take first-round linebackers, but they may have got a first-round linebacker in the 3rd round. So, yeah, I think that they crushed it as well. I actually liked, other than their first round Pickett Pit, Steelers had some good stuff go their ways. But yeah, there's a lot more that I think I disliked and I loved. I was trying to look here, see if there's any other ones.
I was jealous of Detroit.
I was going to say Detroit. I think for as far as Detroit drafts go, I think they did okay. I mean, like the announcer said, they were sprinting to the podium.
And why not?
To get Aiden Hutchinson.
Hometown boy. Most already.
I mean, who saw that coming? Right? I mean,
Parker.
I mean,
again.
He says they're going to jag it up.
I'm telling you this, the Detroit Lions, this is going to be, I can't believe I'm saying this, but they're headed in the right direction. They got Aiden Hutchinson. Jameson Williams makes sense because they know, we talked about this. They know they're going to suck for a little bit. Let them sit. It's fine. I'm sitting here looking at this. Had a lot of good players. They're moving in the right way. And I made fun of Dan Campbell, but man, fighting Dan Campbell's. Let's go.
I got a question. Since we're talking about the Lions, which is rare, I got a question. If, for whatever reason, if the Rams decided to trade Stafford back tomorrow, would the Lions be favored just like when he was traded to the Rams? I mean, is Stafford that powerful?
That's a great question, and I think, man, if they have some more weapons, if Stafford's on there, they probably draft a wide receiver that's ready at that exact moment, right? But that's an interesting question because it does feel like their roster has turned over, but a lot of it was possible to turn over because of that trade, right?
That's true. I mean, it's true. That's true.
So, but the roster is obviously way better than it was at the end of when.
All right. So much for the love. Now it's time to hate, something we like to do. Parker, give us a team that just fumbled this draft.
So, Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears didn't have a first-round pick this year because last year they wisely gave up this year's first-round pick to move up and get Justin Fields in the 2021 draft. So, moving into the 2022 draft, we are going to just surround this quarterback with help. I mean, we're just going to help this guy out, right? So in the second round, okay, we're getting an offensive tackle, we're getting a lineman, somebody, a receiver, running back. Definitely aren't going to touch the secondary because that's the best part of our team. With the first pick that they have in the second round, Kyler Gordon, cornerback, secondary, literally the cornerback, the best position on their team. Okay. Well, he was good, man. His best BPA. Next guy, safety. They go secondary 2 times in a row. They wait till the third round to go get a guy that I love. He's a Tennessee guy, Velus Jones Jr. Let me tell you something about Velus Jones Jr. Today's May the 5th. In 6 days, Velus Jones Jr. on May 11th turns 25 years old.
Shit, the oldest.
Their number one receiver, Darnell Mooney, has been in the league for 4 years, and he's turning 24 years going into this league year. He is older than their number one guy that's been in the league. They did not do anything to help this guy. They drafted one wide receiver. I go look at their depth chart right now, and Velus Jones Jr. is already listed as the number 3 receiver behind Darnell Mooney and Byron Pringle.
That's horrible.
Wow.
Their 4 is Equanimous St. Brown. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, it's my boy Amon's brother.
Yeah, from Detroit.
But I don't know what they're doing. They drafted a few tackles, sure, in the 5th, 6th round. Yeah, great, thanks. I just don't understand. And this will be a bigger part of something I want to talk about the AFC South, but just you've got Fields drafted, you've got Wilson drafted. You've got to see if these are your guys, right? And the Jets are doing everything that they possibly can. They have since Zach Wilson's gotten there, they've got their 3 new receivers, an entirely new offensive line, Breece Hall, everything is new. They're like, all right, kid, this is it. Let's go see if you got it. If not, they'll bring in somebody else, and they've already got the setup around him. Fields, we don't know. If he comes out and sucks this year, is this him? Who knows? So Bears, hey, new regime, same old thing.
Yeah, I want to go to the Patriots for mine. Okay. New England Patriots. Their draft started off strange, gentlemen. Number 1 draft pick, first round draft pick out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. This just seems like I'm smarter than the rest of the room type of pick.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna try to shut it. Unbelievable. Parker, we thought that Cole Strange could go maybe late 2nd, early 3rd, but he's just trying to be, the smartest guy in the room, right? With that first pick.
Yeah, he was literally, Sean Payton was caught on camera saying, well, we wasted our time looking at that guy. We thought he'd be there at 105.
No.
So it doesn't make any sense. If you would have told me their top 2 picks here, and I would have said, all right, cool. Who'd they get at number 1? Because I would just assume that was their 2nd and 3rd round picks.
And then followed up with Taekwon Thornton, pick number 50. I think that was a reach. I mean, he was fast, right, at the combine, but it seemed like a 3rd or 4th round pick to me. You come back with a couple of cornerbacks, ho hum. Then you take Parker's quarterback, made him some money in college football picks, Mr. Zappy.
Hey, more touchdowns in one. Hey, no one talks about it. More
Bro,
touchdowns than any quarterback
My
in the
question
history.
to you is why you have the best rookie quarterback with Mac Jones. What is this?
I don't know. I mean, what was Parker's tweet that he put out? What was it?
Bill Belichick is drunk.
Yes, Bill Belichick is drunk. That's all I can think of. He's got him a good 20-year-old scotch, and he's just clicking buttons saying, I want him.
You can be drunk, just don't draft that guy.
Actually, I guess for him it would be.
This is the equivalent of somebody showing up to a fantasy football draft trash, not what they're doing. They should have stayed home and put it on auto draft. And this is the greatest argument for Tom Brady pulling this team up. It's not, Brady was better than Belichick, or who's it, Brady or Belichick, and because of wins. No, it's look at how crappy these drafts are. They still won.
Yeah,
that was my nominee for the worst.
Everybody keeps saying, "Well, they drafted Tom Brady."
Yeah.
Oh, they looked into that. They stepped in a puddle for that.
Yeah, they totally.
I tweeted today that Tom Brady's admitting that was a fumble, ladies and gentlemen.
He did.
Yeah, right. Would he have drafted him? Hell no.
Dude, he's trolling, man. I love Brady now.
Yeah.
All right, who did you want to talk about?
Man, I'm going to get a lot of grief for this in my house, but I picked the Dallas Cowboys. We were talking before the show. I sit here and I look at this, and we were talking. Dallas always seems to they always draft defense. They always draft linebackers. And how many they have? Three here. I mean, I guess they're just pretending like they don't have Amari Cooper, anymore. That fact is irrelevant to them, that they just lost that weapon. My point here is that I think that the Cowboys, much like some other teams in the NFL, they're on a clock right now. They got to win. They got to win soon. They got some players that are in their prime that are playing well enough to win championships, quite frankly. But they have to have the right supporting cast around them. And I feel like there wasn't any effort to try to go out there and get those players in this draft. I mean, it was just a typical Cowboys draft where we're going to go get us some linebackers.
Just think if you had Dak swap and be the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
I mean, you have the 24th pick and you pick Tyler Smith, and you just lost Amari Cooper, and I don't know I can't remember who was available at that point, but I can guarantee you there was probably a receiver that was available to pick right there.
I mean,
the Patriots guy.
Exactly.
Linderbaum, we still had him.
Yeah. So that's mine. I just think that where Bill Belichick was drunk, I know Jerry Jones was drunk.
Oh, he lives.
I know it. Sounds like he got in a wreck today, by the way. Did I hear that?
I didn't see that.
Hope you're okay.
I think that's the case.
Well, I won't make
fact check me.
Hey, speaking of wrecks, let's go to the AFC South.
Let's do it.
This division has been wrecked by the Titans as of late, and just a wreck because of the piss poor teams.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to Houston. Let's go to Houston.
Go to Houston first. All right.
Houston Texans. We'll run down the names and just each of us assign them a grade. Parker, they started with a number 3 overall pick. They took who they thought was the best corner, Derek Stingley. They came back and got Kenyon Green, who we all kind of questioned, was that a reach? It definitely was a need, but was it a reach for the Texans there? Petrie, I think he was mocked in some drafts to go in the first round. They got him in the second. John Mechie and a cast of others here. Running back from Florida they took with Pierce. But did you like this? Did it feel blah? What did you think?
I will tell you, this is my favorite draft in the AFC South.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job.
I like Sting. I love Stingley. I think they're smart on this because they're taking kind of a home. They may have got the most impactful guy in the draft at number 3. I mean, the people that impact the game the most are the quarterbacks. After that, it's a shutdown corner if you can get one, because they're so rare. So why not take the swing on it? Kenyon Green may a little bit early. Mechie may have been a little bit of a reach. I love Pierce, man. Damian Pierce out of Florida. You should know that guy better than anybody. And remember, before they fired that coach of theirs down there that had no clue what he was doing, that gave him the ball to him like 6 times a game. Then after they fired him, they're like, oh, wow, this guy's actually really good.
He gets like 6.2 per rush.
Yeah, he was
Let him
great.
run.
Houston, though, it's just an easy one for me to say it's the best because you could have Bill Belichick could have nailed this one. You could have closed your eyes and picked out of a hat. They needed everything. Every position. There wasn't really something to mess up unless they just took a bad player. So good for them. They had a ton of draft picks. This feels like their first real draft. Last year felt like, okay, we're sitting on pins and needles still. But now moving forward, I just liked it because it addressed it worked with who was there on the board and with need. So it was both things.
Yeah, I gave them an overall score of B, and one of my picks that I wanted to call out for the Texans was pick number 75 overall, linebacker Christian Harris. I gave that an A for that pick. Anything else with the Texans? I think it was better than average.
They need players. I mean, they need good players, and I think they're well on their way. Honestly, I think they got some good picks.
And Parker, what they didn't draft a quarterback.
No, they did not. I'm telling you, we've been saying I think this Davis Mills guy is a lot closer to the real deal than we gave him credit for.
And so what? If he fails, he just goes down with Lovey because Lovey's a walking.
I guess so, but all I know is he looked like a pro quarterback last year.
And why not give him a shot? You go put Deshaun Watson on that team. They're still going to win 4 games. So you might as well try with this guy, like to see what you got. And if you got something, holy crap, next year when you have a top pick, you could, next year's top. Too bad you didn't have the number 1 pick next year because that is going to be a king's ransom.
Just hold on to that. Could the Jags make history and pick number 1 3 straight years? Everybody stay tuned for our prediction shows.
They'll take another. They would take another quarterback. They would. They're stupid enough to do.
We'll see.
Like
well, that's another conversation. But if they have the top pick again, they may not, and they may need to.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, at that point, is the cat out of the bag about Trevor?
Let's
another conversation.
Let's go to Indy. Indianapolis Colts. We hate them. Let's just get that out of there. We hate them.
Just can't.
They didn't have a draft pick, gentlemen, until pick 53, and they go offense right away with Alec Pierce, Jelani Woods. They took someone that we thought was going in the first round at pick number 77.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that he slid that far, but this oh God, I can't stand the Colts. And just every single pick that I see on here, I'm just like, fuck him. Fuck that guy. He's going to the Colts. So I don't know. This has got their fingerprints all over this. It just seems like it was something they do. They went offense. Now they got themselves another wide receiver. I don't know much about Alec Pierce. Do y'all know much about him? I really don't.
He was catching balls from Ritter.
Yeah. I don't know much about him.
I'm so tired of the A grades that the Colts get. Like, I don't understand the love obsession with Ballard, the GM. Again, that he's 42-42 since he's taken over. At pick 53 took Alec Pierce. Sky Moore was still available. And guess what? He didn't have. No one talks about. I'm including your stupid trades in my evaluation here. The Colts didn't have a first round pick, and you know why? Carson Wentz.
Yeah, here we go. Let's start this conversation.
This is true. This is
how many first round picks are wasted on a guy that sucks balls.
But this is how I graded it too, Parker. You and I are on the same page, and we didn't even talk about it. I mean, I can see the names here, and nothing against these guys, but when I graded it, I took that into consideration.
Yeah.
Where are your first round picks? What are you doing with them? That's the overall feel that I'm going to present.
What is it? Does it not bother you guys? So do they just not think that they need a quarterback to develop?
I mean, they took one a couple of years ago. They're just everything on Matt Ryan, and you're right, Bradley. You have to take these in. It kind of angers me when I see people and they give the Rams like a C. I'm like, F that. They needed A++. They won the freaking Super Bowl because they gave up those picks.
Yeah.
But you look at the other ones, Jelani Woods. This is where like the Walkers of the world should go. Jelani Woods is like the human specimen of a tight end built in a lab. He's just never done it, right? So you take him there. And about Ryman, I heard after we did our podcast, like 24 hours later, news came out that he had a debilitating knee injury, nothing that would hurt him now. Like he's fine now, but you may only get 5 or 6 years out of him. And after that, it's like a debilitating over time injury. And of course the Colts are like, well, we're also now we've got the best GM. We've got Matt Ryan. Like, screw that pick. Let's go get the guy that's going to be good because they need a left tackle.
Yeah, a 75-year-old quarterback. Good grief. Yeah, that's what they're bragging about. The same team that bragged about having Carson Wentz and giving up all their first round picks for him. Now they got a 75-year-old quarterback that had his worst season ever last year. Great job, guys. They're great. Yeah, they're an A in my A in my book.
And a lot of young. Look at these people. They're coming from too. Something about saying about big schools. I mean, Missouri State, Youngstown State, Yale. Like they don't have any big school guys in here. Not one. Cincinnati's the biggest school they've drafted from.
I gave them a bunch of C's, so I've averaged them out to about a C, B minus. The not the worst actually. One of the two teams remaining, either the Titans or the Jags, have the worst in the AFC South, but the Colts were the second worst.
Okay. Well,
you want to go to Duval?
We're going to Duval next.
All right. They owned the number 1 pick and shocked the world and did not take the wide receiver. If you're just going to shock everybody, just take the wide receiver.
Just take him.
I honestly think leading into draft week, though, this didn't shock anybody. I think they were starting to try to train us.
Yeah, they
kind of into Trayvon Walker.
Yeah, we kind of got that feeling, and walking into the draft, it was like, man, they're gonna take Trayvon, aren't they? Even though you were over here begging for Aiden Hutchinson.
But I said right at the end of it, I said, just go ahead and take Williams.
I know. If you're like you said, if you're going to shock everybody,
just do it.
Just do it. Don't. I don't know.
This is a project, Parker. I did like the second pick. I like Devin Lloyd. I think he's all over the place. I presented some stats where he's tackling machine. He makes interceptions. He scores touchdowns. He gets sacks off the edge. I think they reached with Luke Fortner with a center. That was a need pick, and sometimes teams when they're reaching for needs, Parker, that it kind of doesn't feel right.
It says Kentucky and center. So is he on the Kentucky's a basketball team or school, right? Did they get a basketball player?
Yes.
They got a swing interior offensive lineman there, and then they come back at pick 70 and take probably what was the best available player type of pick, Chad Muma.
Cool name.
They're talking about in Duval this week, like, what are we going to do with Muma? I mean, we paid a lot of money,
$15 million a year,
to the leading tackler out of the Falcons last year.
That says a lot.
We've got, Devin Lloyd's going to be on the field every play.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is not coming off the field.
You hope so.
And then what do you do with Trayvon? Is he going to be the stand-up linebacker on the 3-4? So where's Muma?
He's on the bench.
Yeah.
He's going to play like 20% of the side. I really the hatred I had for this the hatred for this draft I was like, I don't want Bradley to think I'm just hating on him because of the Jags. I just really do hate this.
Well, I'm glad you're letting me lead because I'm not too thrilled.
I can tell there is some anxiousness going on over here.
I like Devin Lloyd. I'm fine with it. I'm not fine with trading up to get him. He's going to be the Mike. He's going to be good, but you just paid a guy $15 million a year. You draft Devin Lloyd, and then you get Muma, who's great. He was a BPA. He was exactly what he is. Best player available. But you know what? That Devin Lloyd pick should have been 2 other picks instead of just him, and then get Muma later. That would have been perfection. The problem I have with this draft isn't Lloyd. It isn't really Muma. It isn't even Fortner. The problem I have with this draft, there are no receivers to help Trevor Lawrence. The Jets have given Zach Wilson everything. 3 new receivers. They try to trade for everybody. And Jacksonville they give him Snoop Connor. Like, that's the guy they add to him. There's no, your receiving core there. I am just blown away. They've got to quit trying to hit it out of the park with Trayvon Walkers of the world. Just 2 years ago in the first round, they took Henderson and Shazon. And how'd that work out for them? Just go take the normal pick, for God's sake. Help out your number one quarterback, because if he sucks this year, the question isn't going to be next year, do we need to draft wide receivers? The question is going to be, do we need to draft a quarterback?
Watch out.
Jeez. Man.
Oh, God.
I wasn't expecting that. I really wasn't expecting that one. I really was not.
All right, listen to this.
I can't wait.
Don't disagree with Parker. Totally shocked that they didn't do anything. I mean, literally they did nothing.
Nothing.
But here's what they did do. Christian Kirk. Don't worry about what they paid him. Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Zay Jones. They went the route of maybe that 50% that Parker talks about. They're going to pay for proven commodities.
Zay Jones isn't
proven. Wow.
Versus
Draft and develop. And I don't know if I agree with it, but I'm just saying that's what they chose to do.
I'm fine with that thing, but the problem is that they didn't draft proven commodities. They pay proven commodities. They got the third or fourth receiver off of Cardinals. They had Evan Ingram to a 1-year deal. I thought they drafted a tight end, and he's hurt and drops the ball. And they Zay Jones from the Raiders. Like, so what? If you're gonna, I honest to God think if they were gonna, like, I would rather them give them the first round pick for AJ Brown, which I'm glad they didn't. So I wouldn't want to pick any of those players, but I'm fine with that theory. I just not fine with the players. I really thought this draft was going to be like 5 out of 7 of them offensive weapons for
I mean, you would have thought, right?
I think all of that media and the market down there thought that too.
Yeah.
From everything I'm reading.
How have they been reacting? Has it been kind of a mixed reaction or what?
I think that the Devin Lloyd pick kind of saved face, Parker. I think there was some animosity with Trayvon Walker and Trent Baalke trading back into the first round and getting Lloyd may have saved a doomsday reaction after night one. But
Bradley, correct me if I'm wrong. The rumor was he traded back up to get Quay Walker.
He did? Oh, hell, I didn't hear that.
And when the Packers took him, he freaked because Lloyd's was the obvious pick.
Mm-hmm.
That was the going around down there with some of the beat writers I saw. I forget where I saw that. But it's not some of these players. I'm fine with some of these guys. It's just it
has to make sense. You know, you don't just randomly draft people. I mean, Jesus.
Defense, a swing interior lineman, defense, Snoop Dogg Connor, and then 2 projects at the back end of the draft. Jacksonville, I have graded you the worst draft in the AFC South with an overall C.
Hey, if anyone can tell me the name of where the next to last pick they got there, where that school is, I'll buy everybody drinks.
He went to a Methodist. Was it a Methodist college?
It's
Baptist.
Yeah, Ochita Baptist. I may be butchering that.
Sounds like somewhere in Mississippi.
Well, you better be Jaguar Baptist now. Ochita.
I don't even know what I'm Googling it. It's it's in Arkansas.
I was close.
I was close.
Just saying.
All right.
I was close.
Hometown Titans. Yep. I'll let you two kind of take the lead here. A lot of draft picks, a lot of emotion around the first round of the picks. And what do we think here? I mean, it started with Treylen Burks.
Yeah, there was a lot of emotion surrounding, the draft of Treylen Burks because, it kind of got lumped into the whole AJ Brown situation with him being traded. Treylen Burks that is a great pick for anybody. It had even more importance, I think, after they traded AJ. And I think that they kind of said, hey, he's available. Let's try to fill those shoes. I mean, hey, hopefully he is what we all think he is. And I have no reason to think he's not after watching a lot of the game film. Overall, I mean, I think we picked up some pretty good guys here. How is Treylen Burks going to handle? I mean, because he's basically stepping right into a number two receiver guy situation. across from Robert Woods. But we got our offensive tackle. We got a quarterback. I mean, we got Malik Willis, right, Parker? I mean, what does this mean? This kind of tells you where John Robinson and the organization stands probably with Tannehill, and it's basically, hey, it's time to perform, time to show up, because we're training your replacement essentially.
I liked our draft. And if you want to get into more of the AJ Brown thing, go to our last one and listen, because we can sit here and do a whole nother 45 minutes on that. But if you're going to draft somebody to replace AJ, it's Treylen Burks. It just is. There's no argument about it. If you're trying to replace AJ with an AJ type player, it is Treylen Burks. Roger McCreary, I'm like, what about it? I know he's got short arms. He's in the bottom 7 percentile. They're under 30 inches. But I also know that in 2019, he shut down Jamar Chase. He shut down a few people. It's a good piece. I don't know a ton about him other than that. Petit Ferrer, he took over left tackle in Ohio State. And, hey, give me a big boy at a big school any day. If you're not sure who to take, I lean those guys. He's going to be our starting right tackle. Dylan Radins is going to be the starting right guard. And then Malik Willis, man, I go back and forth to what I actually think this means. I love it. It's fun, right? It's great. Yeah. It's great value at that position. It could change the game at quarterback. All I know is I've heard people say this isn't going to happen, and I think it's absolute baloney. I am ready for some Malik Willis, Derrick Henry packages.
Oh my God.
I mean, really play action to Derrick Henry. Everybody's going to have to respect it. You have to. And if he doesn't hand it off and just takes around, I don't know how you stop it. Like, you can't just do the same way every time, but I think it's going to be a real thing, because Titans do get some sneaky play calls, and another one in here. And I actually like Hassan Haskins. This guy is a 3-down back out of Michigan, big time player. And we've seen the king can go down. If God forbid we have a Christian McCaffrey type year and he goes down again, I'm not calling this guy Derrick Henry. I'm just saying he could be a starting running back in the league. And then really underrated, I don't know much about some of these really late guys, but Kyle Phillips, wide receiver out of UCLA, he's going to immediately be our starting slot. And I did skip over on the tight end out of Maryland. This guy's
Big Chig.
Yeah, he's Jonnu. I mean, that's what he is. He catches the ball.
I mean, I thought so too. I mean, this was a system draft. A lot of these players that we picked up were, this is our mold. This is what we want. And it looks like we kind of stick to that mold in here. I mean, hey, they picked up Theo Jackson.
I was going to ask if you two like Theo.
Theo Jackson was probably Tennessee's best defender this last year. He, as far as being able to cover people.
Not Alante?
No, Alante was good. He was good. But as far as pure coverage and being able to actually cover people, Theo Jackson was the better of the defensive backs for Tennessee. So I like Theo Jackson there. I think this was a good pickup. Pretty good value there, I'd say.
I just can't believe Malik fell out far. I think that's just unbelievable that quarterbacks are so valuable that somebody in the second round, I thought we were going to take him or Ritter in the second round. Like, I really did. I thought with our first pick, we were going to take one of them.
The way the draft was going, I wasn't ready to put anything past him. I think I've heard some people start to compare, Malik is the next Steve McNair. I'm like, don't do that to him. Don't do that to him.
He has got a bigger arm than Steve McNair, but he does not have the arm of Steve McNair, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
no, he does not. Nor Warren Moon.
Right.
Right. No, exactly.
No. So I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, some of these people, they just see. I'll just say it. They see an African American quarterback, and they say, "Well, we had one of those." And,
we got Mike Vick.
The problem with drafting him in the third round is that's not a lot of. I heard actually PFF break this down earlier, and it was really good little breakdown. The problem with drafting a quarterback in the third round is there's not that much draft capital. It's just like, Kirk Cousins backup. You just take this guy or Kyle Trask. Hey, take this guy. If you work out, you work out. You don't try it. You took Lamar Jackson in the first round. Well, he's a backup. They're back there crafting an offense for him. The problem with Willis is if Tannehill doesn't work out, they're going to all right, we're going to give you a shot in this offense, but there may not be designed offense for him. So who knows? I would like to think they're smarter than that, but the point is that there's just not a lot of draft capital on him.
I mean, to me, quite frankly, Malik Willis, the supposed to be a first round pick. The value is an A. I gave it an A.
Yeah, I think if he's there, you have to take him, right?
I said to you two when it happened, I said, you just drafted your third quarterback. He's a project. Logan Woodside is your backup, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah,
The
we'll see
partner
about
said
that.
they don't have an offense that can fit this guy. Logan Woodside knows the offense.
Can Logan Woodside run the offense?
They said that he can run it better than Tannehill.
Then why isn't he starting?
Who said that? Who the fuck is they?
No, that's just not real.
I think Malik.
That is the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard.
I think Malik is not dressing until Thanksgiving.
By the way, why are we glazing over this? You just said Logan Woodside runs the offense better than Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I said
we're not getting away from
I said
this. Golly,
they say great things about me.
I want to talk to they. Whoever they is out there, I want to talk to you.
I think we know who they is.
They can come on the show anytime and we'll talk.
You know what also is being said by they? Ryan Tannehill is not going to mentor this guy.
This is the biggest no story
to figure out.
I was so quiet about this because I hope we wouldn't talk about it because it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, this is so dumb.
They were making it sound like, if you listen to it, like he's going to be like, "Hey, Brian, where's the bathroom?" Oh man, sorry.
That's for you to figure out.
You.
What starting NFL quarterback mentors a backup quarterback?
Pretty sure Aaron Rodgers held.
Pretty sure Brett Favre didn't do it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Aaron Rodgers didn't do it.
Oh, he helped out. Tom Brady didn't undermine.
Is he doing it right now?
Did Joe Montana do it with Steve Young?
I mean, come on.
Chandler in front of Steve McNair literally lied to him about things.
This is stupid.
Yeah, it's a giant nothing burger, as we like to say.
And honestly, if you read the quote, it sounds worse if you read it, but if you listen to it, it is the most harmless. He's like, "Yeah, I really don't think it's my job to mentor him, but if he picks up from me along the way, great." Like that's literally what the quote is.
Ryan Tannehill was just fine in that interview.
You know what sucks about it is Tannehill never says anything, and he finally says just something. Never going to talk again. Never going to say anything.
Is the media.
That's right.
I mean, they're not going to be fair to Tannehill this entire year. Anything that he says, I mean, his best thing to do is just to be quiet and do your thing.
They has a lot of pent up aggression.
Yeah. Well, hey, and maybe it's rightfully so. I'm not saying that you can't be upset with a guy's performance on the field, but I think you can't be unfair to how you view everything that he does. But though
this man comes out and is basically spilling his heart out here in this first time we've heard from him since the loss. And he's like, look, I went to counseling. It's killing me.
Yeah.
I thought that was the bigger story.
I know it is.
Yeah.
And they're like, have you done this before? And he's like, yes, but not to this extent. You're like, I'm soul searching, like real life stuff.
Yeah. I mean, mental health is bigger today than it has ever been in the sport, and any sport, really. I mean, and the fact that Ryan Tannehill is coming out and saying, look, guys, this affected me. I am personally invested in this whole fiasco that happened, and it affected me deeply. And the fact that some people want to jump on his back is absolute bullshit, in my opinion.
It's like they just want to send him back.
I mean, look, dude, what do you want from the guy? Do you want the guy just to pack up and quit? That's just not what he's made of. That's not the guy he is. So, I mean, the theys out there, they need to shut the hell up. I'm just going to tell you point blank.
I do think he probably responds this year. I do. I think he comes out. And people are thinking about the 3 interception game, which was awful how it ended, but his season wasn't just absolute trash the whole year. He had moments. It's just that is lingering, right? It's the last thing we saw. So I do think he responds. He strikes me as that type of guy, but what's going to have to happen is, man, they put a lot of weight on Treylen Burks.
Yeah, they're going to have to. They have a choice. The tight ends, they got to come through. The king has to be there. He has to be the guy shouldering a lot of the load for sure. But
they are signifying that though, right? The tight end thing. So 2 years ago they had Jonnu, right? And Ferkser and all these guys. They let Jonnu walk, keep Ferkser for whatever. So we basically had no tight ends last year, and they're like, oh crap, that didn't work. So let's go out and get like 2 pretty big guys. I feel like this offense is going to change.
B. I gave their draft a B, tied with the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
John Robinson. What does that say about me and John Robinson?
I don't know.
I'm rating him fairly.
I don't know. I mean, Newberry has not been the nicest to John Robinson over the years, that's for sure. But he for sure, I mean, he's being honest here. Hey, real talk here. This is real talk.
The Treylen Burks, to take the trade out of it, it's a good pick.
It absolutely is.
After our reaction show of week 1, you get the value with Malik Willis. That's an A. I gave it an A.
Yeah.
The only thing I gave anything lower than a C was the very last pick. I think it's a throwaway pick, but overall, you did a great job. I believe Tennessee Titans.
Wow. I'm glad we got that on video. I mean, that was Bradley Newberry there here on DDS Sports Talk, complimenting
real talk, real sports talk, no BS.
Yeah, complimenting.
Hey, I would love to compliment Jacksonville. It's just not possible to do it while Baki's making these decisions.
John Robinson, yep. But yeah, golly. But yeah, overall, they did really well in the draft. Just to kind of put a bow on it. I think the Houston Texans did really well. I think the Titans got people that they felt like they could use soon, because they're one of those teams that I was referring to that are on a clock. They're on a clock right now. I don't think that the clock is as short on time as maybe I had previously thought, because I think that they're starting to really they're drafting their system. Again, like I told you, but like I said earlier, it was system drafts that we did. We got good tight ends. We got, physical wide receivers. We got a quarterback that we got a lot of value out of. We got good offensive linemen. And, I think that coupled with the A.J. Brown situation, again, if you want to really dive deep with that, check out our last podcast on that. The bottom line is, John Robinson had to choose between Jeffrey Simmons and A.J. Brown, and he chose Jeffrey Simmons. And I'll take all of those sacks in a playoff game over A.J. every single day.
Does it feel? It feels to be like a cliff is coming for the Colts. Like they're about to be rebuilding kind of mode. If they don't, it feels like they're going to be 8-9 and 9-8 in Jeff Fisher purgatory for the next 10 years.
And we all know what started this. The whole downfall of the offseason, which led into the draft.
Yeah.
They went to Duval in week 18 and got that ass whipped.
I can't believe it.
And they had to blow it all up.
They just can't win down there.
Carson Wentz lost his damn job. They lose draft picks.
Yep.
It all went to shit whenever they got beat by the
did.
Jags.
Yeah,
and what's their plan? What's their plan with Matt Ryan? He's going to play 1 year, maybe 2.
He about to get sacked by
He's probably
all the teams.
He might break his hip this year because he's 117 years old.
The Titans are going to feast. The Jags and their 50 linebackers are going to feast. The Texans will feast. I mean, the Colts might be in trouble this year.
Curtains.
Stay tuned to the AFC South prediction show.
Yeah,
I might have a little something for the Colts.
I was going to tease that with the where I might have the Patriots finishing as well.
Oh boy, I can't wait for all this. You guys really enjoy those shows out there, by the way. So we can't wait to go ahead and start getting that ready for you guys. But hey, guys, this was our best and worst of the NFL 2022 draft, as well as our rankings of the AFC South and their draft picks this year. Go ahead and check us out on Twitter at DDS Sports Talk, as well as on Instagram at DDS Sports Talk. We have a TikTok now. DDS Sports Talk.
I don't even know what that is.
Wow. Yeah, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube. Give us a rumble on Rumble and check out the audio versions of all these podcasts on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Samsung, Audible, all of your favorite audio podcasting platforms. Guys, closing thoughts.
Preds, don't give up 5 goals in 1 period tonight, please.
My final thought is week 1. because of the Jaguars injury situation at running back, we may see Snoop lining up in the backfield with Trevor Lawrence.
Good Lord Almighty. All I know, as always,
It
is two-tone blue all the way. You guys be well.